I want you to shift from a paycheck mindset to an ownership mindset. This is the foundational shift. And it's the one that most women in our season have never been taught. A paycheck mindset will say, I work, I get paid, and I repeat. But an ownership mindset says, I build something that pays me, even when I'm at my kids' school play, or even when I'm on the beach in the morning, or even when I'm sleeping. For midlife Christian women, this usually means building, some sort of coaching business, consulting business, or a service-based business is also a great way to do this, anchored in the expertise and the story I feel that you already carry, that you might not even know you're carrying, because you've been accumulating wisdom now for decades. And that wisdom really has market value. Girl, if life handed you a plot twist, a divorce, a layoff, an empty nest, or you're just ready to reinvent your life and write the best chapter yet, you're in the right place. It's not a midlife crisis, it's a calling. Hey, I'm Lori Ann, Christian AI business coach, single mom of 2 miracle babies, and the woman who rebuilt her entire life from her mom's living room floor while homeschooling my kids, working full-time, and earning my MFA in creative writing. And I built a 6-figure business doing all of it by the grace of God. We're putting God first, family second, and AI third. And God, He is never late. Hey girl, and welcome back to the Midlife Comeback Club podcast. I'm so glad you're here. New episodes are still dropping every Monday and Thursday. So if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that button right now so you never miss an episode. Okay, I want to ask you something. And I want you to really sit with this for a second, okay? When was the last time you looked at your bank account and felt peace? Not anxiety, I'm not talking about dread, not that split-second calculation of something like, okay, what can I move around to make this work? Just peace. Because for a lot of women in midlife, women who have worked hard, who've sacrificed a ton and given decades their best years to everybody else, financial peace is something that lives in the category of like, quote unquote, someday, right? Someday when the kids are grown, or someday when I figure out my next thing, someday when things just settle down. And girl, I'm here to tell you that someday is today. And today, we're talking about financial freedom, what it actually looks like for a midlife Christian woman, okay? Not what the finance bros on social media tell you it looks like. We're talking about the real version for you, that faith-powered version of financial freedom, the one that starts with 90 minutes a day and a mustard seed of faith and ends with a life that actually belongs to you. And I'll tell you something else. The definition of financial freedom that changed everything for me, it had nothing to do with the number in a bank account. So stay with me today. But before we get into it, I want to take just a second to tell you about something that I'm so excited about. And I know I mentioned it last week, but now it's becoming really real because it's getting close and I can't wait. So if you are a midlife woman who is done watching your financial future depend on somebody else's budget or someone else's company or somebody else's timeline, I built the Midlife Comeback Club just for you because you have a story, you have wisdom, you have a heart to help people. And there is a real way to turn all of that into income that is actually yours. So I'm going to be launching my new flagship program. It's called Called to Coach, Built to Break Free. And it's inside my group annual coaching mentorship called also the Midlife Comeback Club, as it is here. And I'm going to walk you through 6 phases of building a complete AI-powered coaching business for yourself. And we're building the foundation of your business in just 90 minutes a day for 90 days inside this program. The 90 minutes doesn't even have to be all together at once. You can break them up into 30 minutes here, 45 minutes there, whatever it takes. But the kicker is you actually get me as your AI business coach for an entire year. That's what I'm offering for the VIP founding member pricing. So you'll also get these weekly live group Q&A calls to answer all of your questions and help overcome any roadblocks you might have. And we're doing it all together in a community of amazing women who are building their businesses right alongside of you. They're reinventing themselves and they're building businesses that mean something to them. And they're walking toward financial freedom too. So it doesn't get any better than this. But like I told you last week, I said that I was going to be opening the wait list, right? And it's here. I've got it. So I want you to go over to loriannfeely.com/waitlist. Okay. It's LORIANNF as in Frank, EELEY.com/waitlist, WAITLIST, and get signed up. And if you do, you're going to have the opportunity to get the VIP founding member pricing. You'll get early access to the program and some really cool bonuses, okay, for the first group of ladies that join me. So click the link too. It's in the show notes and get signed up ASAP because it's coming and it's coming fast in the next couple of weeks here. And I don't want you to miss it, okay? It'll be life-changing for you. And we're talking about financial freedom today. And I'm telling you, this is where it begins. And I'll tell you more about it at the end of today's episode. So just hold that in your heart while we talk today, okay? All right, so let's get into this. Here's the thing. Most of what has been taught about financial freedom, it was not designed really, I don't think, with us in mind as midlife women. It was designed for someone more like with a 30-year career runway set out ahead of them, right? Or someone in their 20s or 30s who can max out a 401k for the next few decades and retire to a beach somewhere. Someone, that doesn't have a career gap from caring for their elderly parents, or they don't have a divorce that reset their whole entire financial life clock, right? It's just, they're without midlife starting over in ways that nobody warned us about, right? So the financial freedom conversation in mainstream culture basically looks like this. It's like invest early, grind hard, retire at 65. And I don't know if you got the red alert yet, but that's not happening as much anymore, at least from the women I know, especially not for midlife women. A lot of midlife women are looking at a much longer career path and not thinking or knowing if they can retire. So if you're sitting here in your 40s or 50s or 60s thinking, girl, I don't have 30 years left to be actively working. I have like right now. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about today. So let me tell you what financial freedom is not. It's not some magic number. It's not 7 figures, not a portfolio you have, not finally having just quote unquote enough in a savings account somewhere that always seems to be just out of reach, right? And it's definitely not some sort of reward you get after years of sacrifice and suffering. We know how that goes. So financial freedom for a midlife Christian woman is something I think entirely different. It looks more like waking up on a Tuesday morning and really knowing that your income is not tied to whether someone else decides to keep you around or not. It's looking at your calendar and making choices based on what you want to do and your values, not coming from some sort of desperation. It's having that amazing margin in your life, having some options, having the ability to say yes to what matters and not to what doesn't. And here's the version nobody talks about. For a lot of us, I think financial freedom starts with the decision. So I want to tell you about a moment that I've never quite been able to forget. It's a vulnerable moment that I don't love to share, but I feel like it needs to be shared in order to let you know where my financial freedom journey began. I was standing in a grocery store checkout line. My kids were super small. They were young. And I was really deep in this season of starting over. I had no income. I had no real future plan. I was just trying to hold it together on a daily basis with some prayer And if I'm being real, it was just sheer stubbornness trying to get through every day. And I was standing there watching the girl check my groceries and I was counting all of the items in my head. I was doing the math in real time, trying to figure out if what was in my cart was actually going to clear on my cart. And it didn't. I had to put several things back, and I kept putting like the so-called extras, like the treats for the kids, and my kids were having meltdown because they couldn't get their snacks. And it still was like not enough. I still wasn't coming up where I needed to be. And I was right there in the line, and I remember trying to do all of it without making eye contact with anyone because I was so embarrassed. It was just a really embarrassing moment. And there was a woman, a couple people behind me, and she just came over and quietly said in my ear, "I've got it." And I looked at her, and she paid $60 of my groceries for me on the difference. And I just started crying. And a lot of the times I was very strong, especially in front of my children. And that day, it just all hit me at once and I couldn't hold it together. And no one had ever done that for me before. And I just told her, "You're an angel. Thank you so much." And grabbed my kids' hands, pushed the cart, and got out to the car as soon as I could because I was just bawling the whole way. I just fell apart. And I remember getting into the car and thinking, this is not the life that I want for my kids. It's not. This cannot be the end of my story in midlife. Like, I don't know what's next, but I know this is not the end. And I knew where I was going back to was my mom's living room floor because that's where we were staying and that's where we were sleeping. Me, my two miracle kiddos, our dog, with no income, no plan, and no real timeline for how long this was going to go on, how long it was going to last. Like, I was applying to jobs like crazy and trying to find something where I could take care of my kids at home and still work. And I had been offered jobs that required me to do a lot of traveling, and I could do them because I didn't have anyone to watch my kids. My mother was ill. And I didn't want to be like the absentee mom. I had waited my whole life to have my kids. I had them later in life and they were just dependent on me. And I wanted to be there for them, heart and soul, every day. And the strangest thing, even in that season, even in the most financially frightening season of my entire life, I was still hearing that quiet, persistent nudge from God that was just saying, "This is not your ending, Lorianne. This is your beginning." But I'm really not sure that I fully believed it, at the time. Even though I could hear him saying that, I was kind of thinking, "God, you're crazy. I don't know how you're going to work this out." But God is never late, as I love to say. And here's what I want you to hear from both of those little snippets and stories. Financial freedom didn't begin when I hit a number. That's what we think of a lot of time. It actually started for me when I made a decision right there in that mess that I was going to build something that was mine, no matter what. Something that cannot be taken away by somebody else, that could not be taken away by a layoff, if God forbid that happened, cannot be taken away by a divorce or anybody else's, decisions. And that decision that I made was really my first act of financial freedom that I ever took. I was a little late to the party in midlife, but I finally got there. And it's really available to you right now. I'm talking about right now, today. If you haven't made that decision yet, you need to. From wherever you're standing right now, you could be in the middle of your mess right now, and that's okay. So here's what I want you to hold on to spiritually, because this part is so important. We often treat our financial struggle like it's evidence of God's disappointment in us. Like somehow struggling means we missed something that God wanted us to do, or we failed, or we're being punished for something. I know I had those thoughts quite often, and I couldn't understand why I was going through all of the struggle. And I just have to say, that's not what the Bible says. My favorite verse, Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Plans to prosper you, he says. Not plans for you to barely get by, not plans for you to just live in chronic financial anxiety every day. Plans to prosper. And Joel 2:25, one of my absolute favorites too, says, I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten. Years that the locust has eaten. Girl, that verse was written, okay, for the woman who feels like midlife left her behind. For the woman out there who gave her best years, a couple decades to a marriage that ended, or a company that downsized and let her go, or a caregiving season that you've gone through that just consumed everything in your life. God is not looking at your life saying, wow, you really wasted all those years. No, he's saying, I will restore what was lost and I will build something new from what remains. And the second half of your life, he's saying, girl, watch what I do with it. Because you're not behind. You're right on time and you're right where you're supposed to be. So I want to get practical for a minute because faith without a framework just keeps you inspired. But you can still be broke. And we don't want that. I say that with love because I lived it for too long. So here's what financial freedom actually looks like for a midlife Christian woman building a life on her own terms. And the 3 shifts that really make it possible. So number 1, I want you to shift from a paycheck mindset to an ownership mindset. This is the foundational shift. And it's the one that most women in our season have never been taught. A paycheck mindset will say, I work, I get paid, and I repeat. But an ownership mindset says, I build something that pays me. Even when I'm at my kids' school play, or even when I'm on the beach in the morning, or even when I'm sleeping. For midlife Christian women, this usually means building, some sort of coaching business, a consulting business, or a service-based business is also a great way to do this, anchored in the expertise and the story I feel that you already carry, that you might not even know you're carrying. Because you've been accumulating wisdom now for decades. And that wisdom really has market value. And maybe you've never thought about it that way before, but it has real, tangible, income-producing market value, which is huge, right? So the question to ask yourself is, what do I know how to do or help somebody through that a woman, 5 years behind me, a year behind me, or even 6 months behind me would pay to learn? And that answer is going to be your starting point. And here's the beautiful thing about building an AI-powered coaching business right now. You don't need some huge platform like you think you do. You don't need some massive following of tens of thousands of followers. You just need a clear niche and a real offer and a system that works while you're busy doing everything else. That's really the ownership mindset in action. And if you're wondering what your calling might be, you can definitely take my free clarity quiz. The link is in the show notes, or it's lorianfeely.com/calling quiz. Check that out. And that'll get you right where you need to be to find out, okay, this is what my gifts are. This is where God has spoken to me in my life and where I can help somebody. So check that out. But number 2, separate financial freedom from financial perfection. This one is so important because a lot of women in our season have been conditioned to believe that they can't start building until they fix everything first, until the debt's paid off, or until the savings account is at a certain level, until the kids are out of the house, until life is just a little more, quote unquote, settled. But let me say this plainly so you hear me. There is no settled. There is just now. And the decision you make with right now. I know this. I didn't really get this till I was in my 40s, but life's never going to settle down. And financial freedom doesn't begin at a destination. It actually begins at a direction that you're taking. So the moment you say, I'm building something that will eventually not require me to trade every hour for every dollar, that moment is the beginning of your financial freedom journey. And even if your bank account doesn't know it yet, it has no clue. Think about, what I told you about my grocery store moment and my floor season, as I like to call it. I can laugh about it now, but at the time it was not so fun. I didn't have financial freedom then, but I did have a decision that I made that day. And I did have a direction where I wanted to go. And I had a God who was already working behind the scenes on the whole plan. And that is enough to begin. Number 3, build income that scales without you working more hours. Love this one, right? This is really where my faith-powered AI systems come in. Because here's the honest truth about most midlife women who try to build something. They end up trading one form of exhaustion for another. They go from working the 9 to 5 to building their own business 24/7 and never have any time off. And they wonder why they are so burned out. But my 90-minute CEO framework, which is really the heartbeat of everything I teach inside this new program, it's built on this one non-negotiable principle: that you should be able to build a profitable, meaningful, income-producing business in 90 minutes a day, where you're really building the foundation of your business the right way. You can do it with 5 days a week, 90 minutes a day. Like I've said before, the 90 minutes don't even have to be all in one chunk. I used to break mine up a little bit in the morning before I started work, a little bit in my lunch hour, and maybe, 15 minutes at night. But you can build the foundation of your business this way. Not 14 hours, not whenever you can squeeze it in, you forget about it for weeks and never get to anything. And not by sacrificing your family or your kids, or more importantly, your health, right? Or your sanity. That's the biggest. Because I know there were plenty of nights where I was like, man, I don't know how much more I can take of this if I don't get my systems under control and figure out a better way to do this, which I did. And now I'm just so excited to share it with you. So you want to do 90 minutes to start, and an AI system that handles the rest. Because talk about revolutions right now. AI, whether you like it or not, is here to stay. And it's not going anywhere. And some Christian women that I know and have met are very anti-AI. And I get it, because there's a lot to be scared of about what it can do. But you remember Y2K, and you remember what happened with the Industrial Revolution. It was all scary. And AI is really coming down the pike even faster. But here's what I do know. The women who have used the internet for good when it came along have built multi-million-dollar businesses that help people. And those CEOs, founders, and owners give back a ton and are super charitable. And they use their businesses for good. And AI can be used in the exact same way, because it gives you more freedom to be more creative and more time with your family and more time with your kids. And it gives you the superpower to create whatever you want to right now, which is so incredible that you can use it for good, not evil. And I'm really getting passionate about this, especially for women out there, because I'm in the world of knowing what's going on with AI every single day, and it's changing so fast. It's hard to keep up with the pace of everything moving so quickly. But yet it's less than 1% of the population that's actually using AI on a daily basis and actually using it to its full potential of what it can do right now. And one study found that roughly 50% of men versus 37% of women have even used generative AI tools, which is astonishing, right? And the women are always likely, they are finding, to express concerns about the accuracy, about the ethics, the privacy, and all the job displacement that's now happening related to AI. So The problem is that women remain significantly underrepresented in AI-related leadership and these technical roles. And some studies are saying that, women are only holding about 22% of the AI workforce roles globally right now. And so I just want to backtrack and have you think about, why this matters to you financially, wherever you stand on AI, whatever your feelings are about it. Because a couple years ago, I was kind of feeling the same way. But the reality is it's here. And so we have to learn how to use it for good. And we have to look at the entire AI landscape, I think, with a different lens, or it's going to severely affect women. And a lot of women are not aware of how much it's going to affect. So if you think about like how we were thinking about the internet, right, in 1998, the people who learned it early, what happened to them? They got promoted faster. They built businesses faster. It created leverage for them with fewer employees. They were able to reach large audiences. And AI, I think, is really creating the similar shift because a marketer using AI might complete their work in 2 hours, what used to take them 8. And a coach using AI can create, their email campaigns, their social media content, their lead magnets, podcast show notes in like a fraction of the time. So one professional is producing 4 to 5 times more output than another. And over time, that's going to affect opportunities, income, promotions. And women are really at a bigger risk for this. It's not that AI is replacing women. The bigger risk is that women are disproportionately occupying the clerical roles or the administrative roles and support roles that AI can automate easiest out of any of the roles. And the way I look at, as I look at any kind of transformation that's taking place, AI might be the single most greatest opportunity that you've ever come across in your life for so many midlife women. Because for decades, as we know, back in the day, starting a business required hiring a staff or expensive software, graphic designers, copywriters, tech support, marketers, you name it, right? And now one woman with AI can often perform the work of an entire small team. And women are still out there and they don't understand this. They don't see how far AI has come even in the last 6 months. It's hard to keep up, right? So the women who learn to partner with that AI will often be able to accomplish what previously required an entire support team. And now you don't need that. Now your job can just be create what you want, build out your back-end systems with AI and get your workflows automated. And then your biggest concentration is going to be where you probably want to be, which is in front of your clients and helping them and learning how to do it. If you want to do one-on-one calls, that's great, but you don't have to. You can go and do a group coaching program like I teach, where you can have as many women that want to show up for your group coaching call every week. And you get to interact with those women and help them one-on-one in a group setting. And your time that you spend is like a fraction of the time because you're not having to spend, unless you want to, a lot of time with one-on-one calls every hour of the day. And you're reaching more people by doing it, which is incredible. So you're able to have the opportunity to reach even more people that you want to help. And you're able to build this creative business in a time where it has never been more easy to do so. And so instead of being scared of AI or against it, I think it's time as women, we really need to accept that it's here and figure out how we can use it for good and leverage it for your own financial freedom. Because this right now, you're in such a window of time that could be one of the biggest wealth building opportunities available to midlife women today. And that's my job. I'm here to empower you to go for it. This is the time. It doesn't even matter what you did for the last few decades. You are sitting in a place right now that we never thought would be possible. And now it is. It's almost like the whole playing field has been leveled. And you have the opportunity right now to build what you want, serve the people that you feel you can help, and build financial freedom for your future in a very short amount of time, because AI is compressing the window that it would normally have taken us a couple decades ago. That means your content's batched in a couple hours. It means it's scheduled, it's publishing. You don't even have to hit the keyboard now if you get really to the next level of the AI agents that we'll talk about. It's amazing how quickly it's moving and what it can do. And in my program, I'm going to start building the foundation for you in these AI systems so that you will have the tools that you need to get to that place where everything, once you build it, it can be fully automated on the back end. And then you just get to show up as your amazing self and help all the people you want to help. So that means like your client intake, your contracts, your billing, your email sequences, all of this is automated and handled. It's done with AI. And when you get to that place after you've built the foundation, that means that your business is not competing with your life. It is your life. It's the full one, the free one, the full life freedom that you've wanted. And that's what financial freedom actually looks like, to give you more time back to be with your kids, to be with your family and your friends, to have balance, that we've all been starving for balance in our lives, right? And now AI is giving us more than a huge opportunity to do that right now. And it's a calendar that you can really control. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. I get so fired up about it, but I need to get through to you because I really feel like I don't want women to miss this boat, because it's happening already. And that wealth gap is going to get bigger and wider. And I don't want you to be on the wrong end of the stick. Okay. So I want you to be living full life freedom that you want. And you have the opportunity to build that now. And like I said, financial freedom for a midlife Christian woman is not a number that you're going to hit someday. It's the decision that you make today. It's that ownership mindset. It's the direction, the 90 minutes, the system, and the faith that says, God has not forgotten about me, or the second half of my story here. He's just getting started. Because here's what I know to be true. The woman who builds financial freedom in midlife is not the one who had perfect circumstances. Usually. She's just the one who decided from that floor moment, if she had to, that she was not done yet. So your comeback's not behind you. Like I always say, God is never late. And you are not disqualified from your future. You're just getting started. So if this episode stirred something inside of you, and I really hope it did, I want to tell you about something that I built specifically for you. If you didn't hear it at the beginning, if you are a midlife Christian woman who is done waiting for the financial security to show up from the outside, and you're really ready to build something from the inside out on your own terms, in your own time, the Midlife Comeback Club was built just for this moment, okay? Inside this club, which is my annual group coaching mentorship, you get access to Called to Coach, Built to Break Free, which is my brand new flagship program that's inside of the club. It's 6 phases that walks you through building a complete AI-powered online coaching business in 90 days. So we're talking phase 1, where you find your niche from your comeback story, because your mess is always your message, right? And then all the way up to phase 5, where you design your freedom schedule and you're building your income roadmap. So you know exactly what quote unquote enough looks like for your actual life, and everything in between. And you're also going to get live weekly group coaching calls where we work through all of the difficult parts together. If you have questions with any of the tech, like I said, I'm a non-techie girl. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. But I will walk you through it, because strategy without support is just homework that you're never going to get done. And we don't want that. You'll get faith-powered AI systems that handle your content, your client experience, and your back-end operations, so that your 90 minutes a day are protected and they're going to be productive, and you're going to have finished something every time you do your 90 minutes. And the best part is always the community of the midlife Christian women that are in this group. They're all going to be rebuilding answering their calling and doing the brave and beautiful work of building something that finally belongs to them. And so you're going to be around all these other amazing women walking the same path as you. So if you're ready, head over to loriannfeely.com/waitlist. I just opened the waitlist. So get on it because it's going to be limited on the waitlist and it's coming in the next few weeks. And I want you to get inside because that is where I'm offering the VIP founding member pricing. And you can learn more about the Midlife Comeback Club over there and give yourself just permission, okay, to stop waiting on financial freedom to find you. So it's loriannfeely.com, LORIANN, F as in Frank, EELEY.com/waitlist. And I want you to build it with a system that actually works for you because you don't have to figure this out alone, okay? And you were never meant to. So I want to thank you so much for being here today. I'm really excited about this new program, and I definitely hope that you will join me on the inside. And if this episode spoke to you, and I believe it did, I want you to share it with a girlfriend who is in a financial season that has her scared. She needs to hear that financial freedom is a decision before it's ever the destination. And you could actually be that permission slip for somebody else that you love and care about. So let me leave you with this. You are not too late. You are not too broken. And you are not too far behind. You are a midlife Christian woman with a great story, a huge calling on your life, and you have 90 minutes a day to start building the foundation of your business. And that's more than enough for God to work with. So until next time, I want you to keep putting God first, your family second, and trust that the systems are coming. And I will catch you back here for the next episode. Thanks so much for listening. Hey girl, I hope today's episode gave you a little faith, a little fire, and maybe even a next step you didn't have when you pressed play. So if it did, would you take 30 seconds and share it with one woman in your life who needs to hear this right now? And if this podcast has been speaking to your heart, I would absolutely love it if you would just leave a quick review over on Apple Podcasts. It helps this show reach more midlife women just like you who are ready to start building the life God actually designed them for. So until next time, keep choosing faith over fear, and don't you dare give up on your next chapter. I'll see you back here really soon.